Good evening and welcome to the Will You Survive podcast. I'm Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And I just watched Dawn of the Dead for the first time.
What did you think?
I really liked it. Honestly, I really didn't think I was going to, just because it is an older movie, but it is a 2000s movie, so I should have known it was going to be golden. I feel like every 2000s movie is just perfect.
Right.
It has that, I don't know, it has that... I don't know how to describe it other than like it just has this golden tint on it.
I like that. I think a lot of that has to do with, as we watched all of the bonus features, they showed us that they did a lot more of a realistic attack on the zombies rather than a CGI'd.
Yeah, I feel like CGI, it's gotten so good, but there's just a certain level of authenticity you can't get without doing the actual stunt. And they were showing us how they would put like these blood packs and these awesome whole contraptions on the back of a stunt double's head. And well, not even a stunt double, because they were the zombies. Yeah. And that's how they would get that effect of brains being blown out onto the wall in blood. Nowadays, they just CGI that, which is kind of a shame, but
I mean, it's great. I agree with you that the technique has gotten so good with CGI that it's almost labor intensive in a completely different way. The labor intensity of makeup made it, I think, as you're calling it, more authentic, and you're able to see this chaos occurring in front of your face. Now, from the Dawn of the Dead, I will start by saying that I understand Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead had some what they call plot holes. It differed from George Romero's Dawn of the Dead.
I haven't seen the original, so I don't exactly know what plot holes you're referring to.
In George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, it was more similar to the wildfire of The Walking Dead, where anybody who has been recently deceased will rise up.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a very interesting approach to zombies, that the virus is inside of us all. That I remember when that episode of The Walking Dead came out, it was this whole big reveal and everybody was like, oh my God, the virus was in us all along.
Well, George Romero broke that barrier down in the 70s. So he had already said that was what caused it. And that was how he avoided having to answer the question, where did it come from? How did it occur? And in Zack Snyder's, it actually created a problem for a lot of the zombie fanatics. Me personally, I liked the change, even though I absolutely dreaded. So I say the paradoxical statement, I love the zombies and I hate the zombies. I love them because they do something different. They terrify you with their speed and their strength. And you start to realize that these, like an animal, like running from a lion on the Serengeti, it's not going to get tired before you are.
Oh, yeah, it's coming. They then complete 100 and, I don't know, 70% stamina. I couldn't think of a number there. So I think the best way to go about this is going to be just starting from the beginning of the movie, and kind of working our way through and talking about what we noticed throughout the film. If I recall correctly, it starts off in the suburbs of Milwaukee, which I now know is in Wisconsin, and they're at their house. And you made an interesting point last episode where you mentioned that similar thing wouldn't happen to us because we lock our doors. And I wanted to ask you, because I was still a wee lad in the early 2000s. Was that common to leave your door unlocked, or is that just kind of a weird thing?
Not at that point. And you know, it was meant to be the depiction of everybody knows everybody
in the suburbs.
All of the neighbors here knew each other, and they show you that when Anna, the main character, the protagonist, is driving home and she sees the neighbor girl.
When she was skating. Yeah,
she says, I could go backwards, and she goes, oh yeah, cool. You know, maybe tomorrow I'll throw on my rollerblades and we'll do a couple of laps.
Little did she know,
everything changed quickly. So it's meant to portray this everybody kind of knows everybody trusts everybody, because her husband wasn't even shocked when he saw the girl. He was just like, oh no, is everything okay?
That was kind of weird, because I was thinking, if I woke up and the neighborhood girl was just standing at my doorway, I'd be a little what the fuck? What are you doing here?
Well, he got that way real quick when he saw that half her face was ripped off.
Oh, well, yeah.
He runs over to her to go check on her. And this is where I first want to break out our will you survive technique. Because these are things that we don't ever think about.
Really quick, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I want the audience to answer this question in their head. Would you approach the girl, yes or no?
Oh, that is great. See, personally, yes, I would approach the girl. And I think that that is one of the main follies in every single one of these situations. I think where I have a little bit of a head start, if you will, or a jump on others is, even though this isn't a very apparent.
That was strange. Oh,
hey, and we're still on.
We didn't lose anything.
We just had a little power flicker in here, and we kept going.
That's awesome.
So what I was getting at is I would approach, but because I have a constant skepticism, and I'm always thinking zombie, even though there's no real threat immediately, my brain goes back to every single myth lore comes from some truth.
Exactly, yeah.
And zombies are not, they're not completely fabled. There is a real life example of a zombie that goes into the voodoo area.
There's a lot of interesting myths, and I guess you kind of memed on now, but I guess you could call it lore.
Yeah,
it's the culture. I think it's China. I don't want to get it wrong, but I think it's Chinese. They have the Yuri or something like that. It's okay. If you look up a bunch of cultures, a bunch of them have it. They have their version of like a zombie. Right. And one of these particular ones, it's if they're not buried properly, they come back to haunt.
Oh, that's
the
nice.
Living.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a respect the dead thing.
Well, I mean, hey, if that's going to get you to respect your dead, I guess, there is one that I see right away, the Chinese zombie, if you will. They call it a hopping vampire or hopping zombie, Jiangxi. I hope I say that right. But the voodoo one was a particular type that a voodoo priest or priestess would put a hex on somebody and recall their corpse, and they would do their bidding mindlessly.
You know what that makes me think of? Oh. That makes me think of What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay, this one doesn't fall within our purview. It's not technically horror. But if you guys have not seen, we do recommend What We Do in the Shadows. That is, I hope I say his name right, Waika. How do you say his name? That's it.
Yeah, great actor, great director. Interesting name.
The guy blew me away on everything he's done so far.
Funny.
When he did, I did watch all of the Marvel Universe. Thor Ragnarok has to be the funniest, which was the one that he was involved in. Mm-hmm. So, he does a great job. And these are with vampires, which I guess technically speaking, if we go by the strictest sense of the word, a vampire is a type of zombie. It just doesn't fall into the right category.
Yeah, because they talk about that. They technically did die.
They
died before they became the vampires.
And so, you have these situations where
they're like a high functioning zombie. And
yes, they think they have an ability to make decisions and we'll say problem solve, which the type of zombie that we're talking about does not have that ability.
Yeah, no. So let's get back to that. Let's get back to Dawn of the Dead. So the girl walks in. Do you approach her? Yes, no. I think I would start to approach her the same way Anna's. It was her husband, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way her husband began approaching. But as soon as I noticed that she had, it was like her lips were almost completely gone.
Off,
yeah. I would not keep going near her. Like, my first reaction would be say something.
Yeah.
Like, say something to me right now so I know you're okay.
Exactly.
And the second that I wouldn't have gotten that close. He got so close to her, and then she just bit his neck, obviously. I mean, he was taunting in front of her, pretty much.
Well, yeah, because he turned his neck and revealed his jugular. As he turned his neck to face Anna, he revealed his jugular to her, and that's what she got.
That's why there was so much blood.
Jugular, and that was the end of him. So, yes, I would approach, but I agree with you in the sense that I think that the story, the plot that's written here, it forces the characters down a road that I don't think reality would ever take us.
Well, we talked about this while we were watching it. A lot of zombie movies pretend like they don't know what zombies are.
Right. They leave out any words, any type. It's another universe. It is.
Yeah.
We have to watch movies in that frame that this is a universe where nobody has ever watched a zombie movie.
Yeah, because zombies is so widespread in our culture, and I think a lot of cultures around the world that I like in World War Z when it breaks out, they talk about, there's been a memo going around that has the word zombies in it, and like, zombies? And, every person watching it is like, yeah, zombies, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and in World War Z, you kind of get a chuckle at the surprise from everybody who's referencing the zombie memo as they react with such shock. But it's like, how can you react with shock when you just saw what happened in Philadelphia?
Oh yeah, like I feel like the shock aspect is over.
It's gone. You can't
now. You need to start thinking again.
You watched as the military shot, and these things would not go down. It was not a light, we'll call it 22 round going into people. I mean, you saw soldiers in Humvees with 50 caliber, and they are just laying down, and these things are not stopping. They're maybe slowing down, but they're still coming. You saw the same thing later in that same movie with the helicopters shooting down on the walls of Jerusalem. That was freaking awesome.
That's an awesome scene. See, that's an example of where CGI is incredible and so amazing.
Yeah.
But I think for simple stunts like shooting a zombie in the head, there's just a certain little sparkle you'll never get with CGI.
Yeah, it's a realism with a plate, with blood packs, with some goo and thread, and it all looks so real.
Yeah, we actually watched how they made them and assembled them and put them on the actors and how they filmed it. It's so cool. Like, for example, we'll get to it later, but the mechanic, when he shoves that stick through the head, that was a
prosthetic.
Yeah, they put a kind of what was it that they put over him? Some sort of plaster.
Well, they did a plaster of his face to get the mold.
And they told him, like, you got one shot. You got to get the expression. And he nailed it.
One take.
Yeah, it was absolutely perfect, because when you watch it in the movie, it's so seamless.
Yeah.
Like, you would think it was CGI.
Yeah.
But that was incredible. That was an awesome
And he
stunt.
was able to make the face over and over again on command. Every single time they would tell him, do it, and he would strike the pose, make the face, and so they were able to stitch together the film of the real guy and the prosthetic head. That
completely seamlessly.
The wooden stick went straight through. That was a cricket.
I think you're right.
It's called a cricket mallet.
Yeah.
Was it cricket? No, polo mallet. That's what it was.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
So now let's get into her husband turns, and she's trying to help him. She's trying to call 911. 911's busy. This is where I think any survivalist, it won't matter if this is a zombie outbreak, if this is a widespread fire rampaging through a neighborhood, if this was a flood, an earthquake, a tornado, or hurricane, you have somebody injured in your home and you're calling 911 and there's no response, or it's busy, or they tell you you have to lie in wait. You have to stay where you are and wait. We can't get out to you right away. That's where I think every survivalist has to really dig in their heels, go back into training, if you will, I don't know that many people actually go through a regular regiment to keep themselves up to speed on what would I do if. But, we used to do it. Yeah, we used to do it in elementary school and high school all the time was fire drills, earthquake drills.
Yeah, we had fire drills and lockdown drills because, ghetto.
Yeah. So, we go through these drills and then we stop doing them. Anna finds herself in this room, this bedroom. She threw the little girl outside of the room and locked the door, and you see the stress that's going on because the door is being pounded on by, thankfully it's a little girl. If it was a grown adult,
they'd have broken it down
straight through that door, an interior door of a home, of a suburban home. It seemed like and a newer track model suburban home, so it wasn't like an older we'll call it an older Victorian or something
it
like
still
that.
Had some strength in its doors and walls.
So these doors, kind of like ours, are rather flimsy. If you put your shoulder down, I'm pretty sure you could take it out. But that little girl was, even in her zombie state, wasn't able to get through.
But she was pounding it a lot.
So that's added
It was
stress.
rattling.
You see that woman, and then she stands up when she's dialing 911, and her husband is up walking around after he had his jugular bit off.
Which I must say, she was a nurse.
Yep.
She had to know he just fucking died, and now he's up. Something is wrong. But no, instead she goes, Lewis? Come on.
I think that's just panic. I'm going to chalk that up to panic, and I'm going to let it go. I understand exactly what you mean. Her adrenaline should have been just cranked to the max, and she should have been on guard and fully aware of the situation. But because it's personal, see, I think that if it was anybody else, if she was just happening by somebody who had gotten attacked and got to a safe place with this person, checked them, their pulse is gone, nothing to do, they get back up, I think she's going to react differently. And you actually see that later
which
on.
is what happened with the bloated woman.
Yeah, you see that happen later on. I think that emotions weigh in heavily.
I definitely agree. I think the personal aspect, it being her husband that just died in front of her and now is standing up. Because you saw it when she runs into the bathroom. He almost gets her. She gets away. She runs into the bathroom and closes it. And she falls into the tub and she's sitting there and there's no movement. Nothing. So she gets up all slowly. And at first when she started walking to the door, I was like, oh, she's smart. She's going to lock it. But no. Instead, she just goes up to the door and again goes, Lewis, and attracts him. And then he charges and breaks down the door. That was the dumbest thing that she could have possibly done in that situation. Also, watching her trying to open a locked window for like 15 seconds is pretty embarrassing.
Well, I love the directing on this because this guy is trying to get you stressed. He's trying to make you, this is Zack Snyder.
I was stressed.
He's trying to make you feel this panic, that feeling that something's going to grab your ankles from behind as you go up the stairs. Zack Snyder gave me that hypertension when she was climbing out the window and her zombified husband grabs her ankle.
Oh, I got the same way when that happened later on to the cop.
Oh, yeah. When she kicked up, man, I thought that was awesome. But okay,
I was impressed, honestly, that she did that.
Here's some plot armor. Okay, this is Anna had to survive. When you kick like that into somebody's face, when they're holding on to you, the chances are, and she's in pajamas, it's not like she's in jeans or something sturdy. The chances are he's going to scratch you or you're going to kick his teeth.
Yeah, that's what I would be worried about. I'd be worried about me getting bit by him because of me.
And that's exactly what
an embarrassing way to go, right?
And I will say this. I don't trust those little zombie survival tests they do.
Sorry, we forgot to say spoiler alert.
Oh, Yeah. If you're wondering, we're going to have nothing but spoiler alerts. Today is for Dawn of the Dead, 2004, Zack Snyder's. I will say, though, that banking on the emotions, you have to go back to George Romero when he did Day of the Dead. So that was the follow-up after Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Does it follow the same kind of storyline?
Almost exactly. It is the progression of this virus or whatever it is, this contagion, this epidemic.
They call it a virus.
I believe they do. I believe they do call it a virus.
I believe in the special report they call it a virus.
Yeah. Zack Snyder said that this particular virus occurred supernaturally. It did not say that in the movie anywhere. But
well, in the movie they were very vague because it was a whole big point of the movie was that none of the news was accurate.
And you just don't the coronavirus.
Yeah, it seems a little familiar.
And you know, really I made comment at the very beginning, the opening credits, which we're coming up to. They give a far more accurate reporting in Dawn of the Dead than they do here.
Because in Dawn of the Dead, they admitted that they didn't know. They just said, we don't know.
Is
now,
it airborne? Is it fluid transfer? We don't know.
Our experts nowadays go, oh, yeah, we know this for sure. This is a fact. And then 2 weeks later go, all right, so we were wrong about that. But this is true. This is 100%. And it's been going on like this for a year.
Yeah.
Come on. I would much rather them just say, you know what? We don't know.
We don't know.
And you know what? I would be much more scared if they just said, we don't know. And if they didn't try to lie to us for the last year.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Gonna raise my blood pressure.
I think it would have been easier to take them and their policies far more serious
if they just
could honestly say we don't know.
Which was the truth. None of us knew. Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. It was a novel virus. Brand new.
All right, but getting back to Dawn of the Dead. So now she miraculously gets away from 2 zombies without a scratch.
Which I will bring my only criticism to the opening scene. The opening scene had me up in arms, and not a whole lot of other people noticed this, but I was just livid. How was her husband zombie able to open the door? Zombies don't know how to open
What
doors.
door?
The bedroom door.
Oh.
She exited the bathroom window, climbs out, runs out. The front door was open. Beautiful directing. They remembered that the little girl went in there.
Yeah.
Number
I
one,
noticed that too.
You never saw the little girl come back out. Maybe she ran away, whatever. But the other thing, when you get back out to the car, Anna looks around. She scans the whole scene. Her next door neighbor across the street is holding a gun out. And she's like, help. Can you tell me what's going on? And he says, stay back, Anna. Stay back. She says, come on, please just tell me what's going on. And I told you to stay back. And then you see the ambulance come by and just cream him. Well, then you take a look around and you'll see something else that really irritated me. Helicopters up in the air, sirens, fires, explosions. But what woke them up was a little girl standing in there.
I mean, I don't know. Living in the suburbs, you're probably not used to that. Not going to lie, here probably wouldn't wake me up and I wouldn't think twice about it.
LA?
Yeah, I wouldn't think twice about it.
If it's not our fire alarm,
it ain't going to wake me up. I don't care. But I get that. I get your point. Living in the suburbs, how did they not know some shit was going down?
Well, with the extent of everything. I mean,
well, yeah, because you would assume that all of that didn't just happen.
Right.
That it took a little bit of time, probably about 30 minutes for things to really start going to shit.
For there to be 4 helicopters in the sky just from her observation right over their city, it was easily more than 5 minutes.
Well, but the special report says this was happening during the night.
Right.
All the injuries and stuff at the hospital were happening overnight.
Right. That's why it was Dawn of the Dead.
Which is crazy, by the way, that this entire plot takes place within 24 hours.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. If you watch the special report...
The
bonus feature. I could not think of that word. If you watch the special report bonus feature, it's the news anchor covering like 28 hours or something, 26 hours of the first 26 hours of the virus being exposed to humanity. And it's crazy how fast it spread, because during those 26 hours, you see tons of experts going and seeing these things, and morgues, and a lot of science stuff, just a lot of scientific-y stuff. It's really interesting to watch. It really gives you that extra bit of background information that they don't explain during the movie.
Right.
And that's something that I was talking to Alex about, is that I really appreciated old DVDs because they added bonus features like that. They took the time to add 20 minutes of bonus features. That wasn't even all of it, by the way. That was one of like 6 things in the bonus features.
We watched them all.
Oh yeah, we watched them all. Not to mention a director's commentary, which I think is so interesting. Most people probably won't, but I think that's so cool. The director gets to tell you what he was thinking when he did what he did, and why he did what he did.
Right.
And it's a very interesting thing from a perspective, from a production standpoint.
Yep. So we should have seen, or we should have heard overnight in the suburbs here, something should have woken us up. But now, okay, so that being gone, I do think that preparation is key. If Anna was prepared for an emergency, she would not have had to bail from her home. She would have to have secured it, but she wouldn't have had to bail.
I don't think she would have been able to secure it.
You don't?
No. I think killing a random zombie is one thing, but killing your spouse, who is now a zombie, would be a totally other thing.
And that is something that I was bringing up with the Day of the Dead. The characters in that one made reference when they were asked, why can't we just go and shoot them all? And a military general said, you don't have enough bullets for that. The time for that has already passed.
Which, first of all, I must say, gun control, what about zombies?
What about zombies?
What about zombies? Come on. 3 simple words that form one of the most life-threatening questions.
But it's okay. Personally, I don't want a gun in that situation.
Yeah, we talked about that. But
I
will
also
say,
don't want to be in the city.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that, because later on in the movie, we'll get there, but later on in the movie, they kind of come to this crossroads where it's, do we stay here at the mall, or do we leave and try to find somewhere better? And I wanted to ask you, in this situation where we live at this apartment complex, if we could secure this building, would we home base here? Or would you want to go, I don't know, seek a shelter? Not really a shelter, but you know, those camps where it's survivors camps. But from what I know from all my tons of zombie movie experience, is that those are all fake. All those, there's no zombies here, we have food, water, and shelter, are never true.
Well, it's not that it's fake, it's that...
Well, they get overrun.
All the time.
All the time. So they're never still there. And also, I probably wouldn't want to go to one, because it just feels like you would get overrun.
No, in a particularly bad scenario, like a zombie apocalypse, this particular instance that we're going on, if you were to have these type of camps, where they have, in the movie they had the fort, right? There was it wasn't Fort Bragg,
Fort Pastor.
Fort Pastor. And as the cop, Ving Rhames, the cop is trying to go to that fort, then they find out, no, that place wasted. It's gone. We just came from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like the asshole Steve's response when he said, is everybody dead? He said, well, dead-ish.
Yeah.
Is everybody dead? Well, yeah, in the sense that they fell down and then they got back up and then they started eating everybody.
Yeah. You know, I will say, we're going to go back to the beginning so that we could get to this point, but I will say Steve was a super unlikable character, but man, he was funny. He had some funny quotes. All right, so back to, we're still not even out of the opening scene. We haven't even hit the opening credits yet. But Anna now gets in a car, and her husband runs out the door, which you mentioned, that he doesn't know how to open doors. My only argument there, which still doesn't quite explain it, is that he was breaking through the bathroom door.
Yeah, perhaps he broke it.
He would have had to break through it very quickly, though. Or if, I don't know, I don't really remember, but if the door opened outward into the hall, he could have just bashed it hard enough that it just slammed open.
No, it didn't open outward. It opened in.
Oh, okay, yeah, no.
Anna threw the little girl out.
Oh, and then slammed
she
it.
Slammed the door shut.
Yeah, the same way she slammed the bathroom door.
So he was running into the door jamb with the door shut, which it was still, it's not like they feel pain. So
yeah,
it is
so
still
he
possible.
could break
so
through.
We'll cut past that one and we'll go on. She's driving away. You get to see the chaos.
Yeah, it does a wide shot.
My only complaint on that is that they should have woken up.
Yeah, they definitely should have.
Unrealistic
I agree.
there. So she gets away, and you see the devastation in her when she pulls behind a bus. Well, first you see that car T-bone another car straight into the gas station and then explode.
Oh, directed by Michael Bay.
That was a pretty wild explosion. And then she pulls up behind this bus, and you see one girl walking like naked. I'm assuming that she was injured, not zombied yet, because she wasn't interested in Anna.
She looked dazed.
Yeah, she was just kind of stunned and
probably
walking
dying
along. And then you see in the back of this bus were two zombies attacking another woman who was trying to fight them off. And then right at that moment, this is the part that just grinded my gears. The bus driver, for his own safety, he tried to get into the car that Anna was driving on the driver's side.
Which, you know what? I kind of get it, because he definitely was just trying to take it. He was not trying to catch a ride, which I kind of understand his point, because everybody else who tried to catch a ride from Anna did not get a ride. So I think he was in his fight or flight mode, and he picked fight. He was going to steal that car, but she ended up driving off, ran over his feet, which
she kicked him out of the car, and then she crashed. That's when Ving Rhames' character.
Well, she passed out, and then when she woke up, the cop was there.
That was the cop played by Ving Rhames.
I like what he said. Say something. I like that. That's exactly what I would say.
Yep. Say something. And then all she could muster was please. But it was enough.
Yeah, that's enough. Zombies can't say please.
She's a human. And so they carry on, and they do meet up with another crowd.
They almost get shot.
They're
going down a small tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel, they're approaching it, and two gunshots go off right in front of them. And it turns out to be, I don't remember. The
actor's name is Mekhi Phifer.
Oh, is that who that is? Wow, I'm
is.
so uncultured. I had no idea who that was.
So he's playing kind of like the gangster baby daddy to this beautiful woman.
Russian woman.
Her name in the...
Luda.
Luda. I forget the actress's name.
If she's Russian, she has a
very difficult
Russian
name.
last name.
The other actor, he's kind of the male counterpart to Anna.
I love him.
Yeah, he's kind of our hero.
He's a great leader. What I like about him is that his previous job in the real world, he explains later that he sold TVs at Best Buy.
Yeah, but he did a lot of things. He said that he did a lot of jobs. There's a lot of different jobs that he did all over the place.
Yeah, but when you look at him, you don't really... In the normal world, you wouldn't think anything of him. And then in the zombie world, he just became this absolute hero who just knew what to do.
But it just seems like you can't judge somebody by what they do for a living, what they do to earn money.
Oh, definitely not, no.
In a catastrophe situation. I love The Walking Dead. Glenn, who was probably one of the most influential people in The Walking Dead, was a pizza delivery guy.
Hey, and you know what? He was really good at what he did. In the apocalypse,
in and out of places.
He was quick. See, that's what I think I would be able to do. I'm small. I can fit in tight spaces, and I know I said I'm not fast in the last episode. I think I'm a little fast, but I definitely feel like if it's an athletic zombie,
we're talking the difference between the zombies that we were seeing in Dawn of the Dead.
Oh well, yeah, Walking Dead can't run.
A car. Mm-hmm. In The Walking Dead, they don't run.
Oh, hang on, I wanted to bring that up. Okay, really quick, going back into the opening scene, when her husband is chasing her and she's driving away at full speed, he's chasing her, and then he realizes, I'm not going to catch her. He sees somebody else who's just standing in their lawn.
Yeah,
and I could be wrong about this. It was a quick glance, but it looked like she was watering her lawn.
I will give Zack Snyder the benefit of the doubt and say there's no way in hell she was watering her lawn. I do think that she was
Either
standing
way,
there. She was supposed to be a person standing in shock and awe, not able to comprehend what was going on.
She was standing there so nonchalant, just straight up, just like, this is any normal morning. What's going on with these people? And then she starts getting eaten, and she's like, ah! I'm just kind of curious if she saw someone else get eaten, because it seems likely.
Well, and that's where I think shock has everything to do with it.
Oh, I hope I don't freeze like that. That would suck.
I think shock does freeze people. And
yeah, that'd be such an embarrassing way to go. That would suck.
Well, I don't. Here, let's look at it this way. I don't think anybody's going to care.
Yeah, but I care. I'm going to be getting eaten. I'm like, fuck, I was just standing here like an idiot. Jeez. So far, I think I survive. Number one, I scrutinize everybody. I don't trust dead people. I don't like dead. Yeah, you've literally told me don't pretend to be a zombie. I might accidentally kill you.
Ever pretend to be a zombie around me. Never. I don't play that game. I just, my advice to anybody, don't try to be a zombie around me to see what will happen.
You'll get beat up.
It is a self-defense method, and I'm always prepared. I don't want to stab anybody in the head. So going to so far throughout this, I think I survive. Now, we do have one up on Anna. You are right in the sense that they're in a suburban home on the ground floor. She's not able to secure her windows. She's not able to secure her doors.
Yeah, we would be fine if we can secure our door. Better yet, if we could secure the whole apartment complex. That's a whole safe base.
Right.
That just having somewhere to feel safe, even just a little bit safe, I think would be so crucial in a situation where nowhere is safe.
Yeah.
Where at any point something could happen, but at least here it's a little less likely.
Right. So by the time they get to the mall, that's where I think for us, we are prepared to endure for a time. And I do think that flood, fire, earthquake, anything like that, we stay put. We stay put for the maximum amount of time before we make a move. And the reason for that is we don't want to be a burden on the city or state's resources or the federal government.
Because the idea is that hopefully they'll be able to contain it.
Correct.
We just have to fend off ourselves until that happens. Unfortunately, in almost every zombie movie ever, government does not contain the virus.
Well, and that, honestly, that's because people do not take care of their own.
Yeah, I just can't understand this. In all these zombie movies, the virus spreads so quickly, but maybe it's because I grew up in a state where everybody owns a gun, but I can't imagine that this virus would spread that fast in Texas. Because the second you start charging someone and you got blood all over your face, you're done.
Yeah, you're probably getting shot.
Oh, and they don't mind aiming for the head. They'll shoot you once, the chest, go, all right, the head it is.
Yeah. So I think that I survive up to the mall until I have to move. In a zombie situation, I think we're able to last 3 weeks. We go on the move. The majority of activity has died down.
That's true. Most things are zombies now. The world isn't in super chaos because, it's mostly just dead people. So now your only worry is zombies. And something that I feel like The Walking Dead really hit on, and then they kind of went overboard with it, but human activity. They do briefly kind of touch on it with the security guards in Dawn of the Dead, but I definitely feel like looters and just all around pricks are going to be way more prevalent in a zombie apocalypse.
That is actually where the Zack Snyder's remake differs from George Romero. In 1978, George Romero actually had a biker gang who came and broke all of the windows of the mall, drove all through it, allowed all of the zombies inside.
Ooh, that's bad.
And so they killed their safe haven and forced them to retreat. That was what caused them to leave. In 78, they had a helicopter on the roof, and that was what they used to escape.
Did not have that in the 04 version.
No, in the 04 they got away by boat.
Yeah.
So we can skip a lot of the stuff in the mall.
Actually, no. Let's go through it. Let's go through some of it. We have some time.
There's some points that we can bring up, but a lot of it was once they got there,
character development.
The director wanted you to feel safe. So when we're in the mall for the first time, we encounter the handyman, or we'll call him the janitor.
Well, actually, first we encounter. Oh wait, do we encounter the security guards first? No, right?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay, so they're still on the first floor.
As we got inside, we go into the first floor, and they entered through a loading dock, came in through the back halls of the mall, entered into one of the stores,
and then broke a window to get out.
In, so they broke a window using a toilet.
Which I will say, I was super worried about until Alex brought up a really good point. The virus did happen in the middle of the night, so anybody that is there wouldn't be a lot of them. Yeah. There would be maybe a shipment crew and a janitor, which we did see, but there would not be a lot of people. When they first do that toilet, holy crap, I told you I would not have done that. Yeah. That is way too much noise. You're attracting everything, but you brought up a really good point. There's not going to be anybody in there.
Probably empty.
Yeah, good
so
point.
The first place we gather, they called it in the mall. They called it Metropolis, and you had some of the folks gathered there. The rest did a sweep through the first floor. We found the janitor zombie, who was a rather buffed dude. Who?
This was the maintenance man that we were talking about earlier.
He attacked our protagonist, the man, the co-star.
Hang on, we should look up their names. Because I can't believe I don't remember their name. He's our favorite character. Don't remember his name.
Not my favorite character. My favorite character is a shocker.
Yeah, I know who yours is.
My favorite character is actually the security guard.
Yeah, the complete dickweed.
The absolute dick. He's the guy who tells all of them that they're not welcome. They have to go somewhere else. Guns pointed at them. No way are you getting in here. And
so the security guard's name is, what was his name again? CJ? CJ was his name.
So CJ was quite a dick, but man, was he cool. He turned out to be amazing in the end. So Michael is our guy who is walking through the mall. He has a crowbar in his hands, and it shows that it's all bloodied. And when he sees that there's something going on behind a door, you can kind of see a shadow beneath the door. He trades the crowbar for a polo mallet. And when he opens up that door, this maintenance man, who's a zombie and eating another man,
munching,
just turns on him in a second and comes at him hard, man. And they go flying through the retail store and things falling all over the place. The initial whack of the mallet did nothing.
Oh no, yeah, he hit it in the throat and it just kept on coming.
And that mallet just broke. It just snapped. So that was what he used after they wrestled around on the floor to stab it up through his head. And the guy goes down, stops moving instantly. Meanwhile, in Metropolis, or in what they called Metropolis, that was the center courtyard, if you will, of this mall, there's a fountain. The rest of them are standing there watching when another zombie, it was one of the security guards.
Really quick, hang on. Before we get there was something that's super interesting that happened, and I don't think the scene actually has a purpose, and it kind of baffled me. Anna washes her hands off in the fountain, and it very specifically shows her doing it. The camera is placed underwater, and it shows her dip her hand in and washing the blood off.
Right.
Now this other zombie shows up, and I believe he grabbed the cop.
No, he went after Luda.
Oh, he went after Luda, but the cop stopped it. And so they fell into the fountain. The cop was scraped by one of the fountain's little spouts. Scraped is an understatement. He was gashed open by it. So at this point, I immediately thought, oh, he's infected. because he has an open wound in a fountain where zombie blood was just washed off.
Right.
That's not what happened. I overthought it. I told Alex, I said, I have two theories. I think the cop dies because his wound was exposed to zombie blood in the fountain. And I think Luda dies because it was revealed that she has a scratch on her arm. And then Alex told me I was right about one of them. Luda did end up dying. Spoiler alert. But the cop did not die, which I am happy for. He was a pretty cool character.
The zombie scratched her arm, which the only one that gave us that kind of emphasis was in Resident Evil, when the Red Queen was telling them, one bite, one scratch from one of these things
is all it takes.
You're dead.
Yep.
So she's a beautiful woman. I will butcher her name as I say it, but it's Ina, and her last name is Korobkina. We'll say it that way. Beautiful woman, and they show this degradation.
It was really funny.
Features.
The reason we're talking so much about how beautiful she was is that the makeup artist actually said he had a hard time making her look sick.
Yeah.
Because she was just really pretty, and it took so much to make her get this look that she was actually sick and dying, which I did notice the day after she got that scratch. She says, her husband is saying that, yeah, she's doing fine, but you see she looks a little sicker. It's pretty subtle, but you could see it at the corner of her mouth.
Yeah.
She looks a little sick, and then it obviously progresses from there.
So you see this quickly start to unravel as you give us some character building, Mr. Snyder. You let us get to know these people, find out some things about them, but then quickly everything starts to unravel. One of the characters that we meet, we never get to see him except for in the special feature, the bonus features.
Andy,
the gun store owner.
Well, hang on. We totally forgot. They haven't met the security guards yet.
Oh, yeah.
So they go into the elevator.
So they secure the first floor. They get scared. They run away because this zombie's still out there.
Which I must say, I will not get into an elevator during a zombie apocalypse. You don't know what's on the other side of the door.
Yep.
When you're going up or down, if that opens up and there's a horde there,
yep, you're done.
In the movie, zombies chase them and pound on the door, and the elevator doors happen to close just in time. A zombie reaches his arm in, but it gets caught, and the elevator doors close. Nowadays, elevator doors open if a hand gets in between.
This was 2004. An elevator door would have opened too.
It would have. So
what they
why
did
didn't?
do was they showed you that the zombie didn't get his arm in. It got its face in, but it never got its face inside of the inner doors, where that's where the mechanism is that stops the elevator doors.
Imagine though, that's so close.
And that's what we call plot armor.
Yeah, that's I don't know. That's why I won't get into an elevator in a zombie apocalypse. You're cornering yourself.
You are cornering yourself. I'm looking for stairs, which is really ironic. In this mall, there were no stairs.
Yeah, there was no escalators. The Galleria near us has stairs everywhere and multiple elevators, and you could see to the second floor,
which would be impossible to fortify.
Oh yeah, no way. It's all glass.
It's all glass.
And there's so many back ways. You can never secure it all.
So
it'd be too big.
We get up, we meet the security guards, and the security guards are taking the dick approach of nobody's welcome.
Yes, we got CJ. We got who else do we have? Bart was one of them.
And
Terry, yeah. Yep, there they are.
So they're Michael Kelly, Michael Berry, and Kevin Zegera.
A lot of Michaels.
Oh, Ziggers. Sorry. So all of these security guards are taking the absolute dick approach of no, you can't be here. Well, you can't send us out. There's zombies out there. Not my problem. But what about, nope, not my problem. You got to go away. Well, then he finally relents. Okay, give us your guns and you can stay. Well, gave up the guns. And
the cop and the what was his name? The cop and
that was
Andre
That's Mekhi Phifer's character.
Did not want to give up their guns.
But
Anna
did
walked in, gave the shotgun because she now had the shotgun from a previous encounter.
That was because the cop got taken down by the zombie into the fountain.
And so she ended up saving him.
She grabbed the zombie and she shot it. She grabbed the shotgun and shot the zombie.
Oh, which I think this is important. We are really going over time. But I did notice in the fountain scene, when Anna shot the zombie, she shot it through the shoulders. And it became what they later call a twitcher.
Yep.
Now, I don't understand exactly how that happened. Is it basically saying that if you can disable it just enough, it just becomes this twitching being until it's shot in the head? Because it was harmless until they later came and shot it.
I don't think that it was a matter of it being... number one, it's a shotgun. So I think pellets hit it in the head. But it is what they called a twitcher. So they were trying to tell us that there were some of these in some instances where even when you put the bullet in their head, the body just twitches around for a while. And so that's why you hear the sheriff who was doing it yelling. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that sheriff was played by Sam Raimi.
Tom Savini.
Oh, Tom Savini. God. He looks so familiar. So it reminds me of the character from Dusk Till Dawn.
I want to say really quick, if you go to the cast, Luigia Zuccaro is labeled as playing Naked Woman. Very important character that they had to let us know about.
Oh, okay. Very good. So now we're finally in the mall. And
we're at the second floor. We met the security guards.
Personally, biased though I am, I start to wonder if I'm able to survive something like this. Not because of the attacks in the mall, but so much plot armor has been put up around these people that they survived a gunshot, a gun attack against them, Anna and Kenneth Ving Rhames. So they're shot at and they survive. The guy misses. They get into the mall. They survive 2 zombie attacks. I mean, close call zombie attacks. These things were right up on them.
While we were watching the bonus features, we learned that they used actual amputees for like the Asian running zombie right before they enter the mall, who sees them and runs. That guy actually doesn't have an arm. So they used these amputees to create these more realistic zombies. Like in the basement scene, there's a zombie with no legs that uses the pipes to get around. Mm-hmm. It was such a cool zombie to see, and even cooler to see that guy really didn't have legs. He was an actual double leg amputee, and I just think it's so cool that they gave him like a stunt job. I think it's just really cool and really interesting how they gave it that extra realism.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really like that one. The point here, getting into the mall...
They should already be dead.
I don't think I'm going to a mall.
Oh, no. Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere big, anywhere with big population.
I think if you're on the move... Now, she crashed her car, right?
Yeah,
so
she kind of had to follow the guy who had the gun.
First thing for me, that was the bus driver who tried to take over her car. Right. So she stops behind a bus and she sits there and cries as she's watching this thing go on. Well, this is not the time to allow shock to take over. See, that's freezing. That's when she froze. That is the point right there that while you don't have a plan, your best plan is to stay on the move.
Yeah. Keep going so that they can't stop you.
You just move, try to get out of the cities, go away from, you see what's happening, and it's chaos. And again, I will keep bringing this up. This is going to go for fire, flood, earthquake, tornado, hurricane, anything like this. If you're witnessing mass hysteria, if you're able to get out of those cities.
Yeah, big cities, LA, I don't know, let's name some big cities: Chicago, Dallas. Orlando.
Yep. Miami, New York, pretty much, of course.
Yeah. Oh, totally forgot about New York. Any big city, probably don't be there. Now, Alaska is interesting, and we could talk about that later. But I think Alaska is really interesting because their winters would actually freeze zombies.
Well, and we will get into that. I'll get into that specifically when we get to the World War Z episode, because
because they go to the north.
That movie is based upon Max Brooks's novel, and that work is incredible. He wrote it from a perspective of an interviewer going around and asking people after the epidemic has been subsided. It's a fantastic perspective. So when we get later down the road here, we'll talk about some of these other instances. But I think you get out of the city, you get away from all of your common places for survival. The further away you can get, the better. It's always up to being prepared, and it's always up to being one step ahead of the mob, the hysteria, the panic, and not allowing yourself to go into the freeze mode. See, if you freeze in place, if we stay put because that is our plan, that is our preparation, everything is set to stay in place for X number of hours, days, weeks, whatever the case may be. If that is your plan, that is not freezing. You have to have an exit strategy, though. What is your exit strategy? When you get to that point, how do you execute that next plan? You always have to be thinking of how. And remember, through all of these discussions that we have, number one, we will give you our email, and we will love to hear feedback. We'd love to hear what you guys think, how you would survive these situations. And we'd mostly love to hear anybody who has survived extreme conditions. We know there are plenty of servicemen out there, thank you for your service, who have gone through extreme situations on a regular. That is survival on the daily. When you're getting gunshots at you, that's a whole different kind of survival. It's fun for me to talk about zombies, but it really will work for any situation. If you're always prepared, you'll never get caught unawares. And in this particular movie, I think I kind of lost the will to live when we get to this point in the mall where Andre and Luda's pregnant when she got scratched by the zombie. She devolves and
whoa. We're skipping a lot.
What are we skipping?
We're skipping the whole reason they even get discovered in the first place. First of all, they overthrow the security guards. They end up turning on them, getting their guns from them, and locking them in the security cell, as they definitely should have. Those guys were complete assholes. The whole reason that they locked them up is because a truck pulled up with people driving around the mall. And the people who just got into the mall, it was like 5 or 6 survivors. Yeah, 5. 5 survivors said, "Oh, we got to let them in." And the security guard, who we actually both agree was in the right here, said, "Hell no. We don't know their condition. You guys kind of forced your way in. We can't let these people in. We have no idea what their situation is. We don't know who they are or if they've been bitten. We don't know anything." But they lock the security guards in the security cell, except for one who is not an asshole. He was kind of a cool guy. Ends up falling in love with the ditzy girl. And they do this whole big mission to get these people in, and they do. They successfully get them in, and turns out 2 of them were infected. One is the bloated woman, who we mentioned earlier, who dies, and then Anna feels her pulse.
Yep.
And then she dies, and there's no pulse. And then she wakes up, and Anna's a complete badass and kills this
fireplace poker through the eye.
It was a complete no hesitation. She saw this thing get up, she got to a weapon and killed it. And it was so quick and so flawless, just so badass. Then we find out that one of the other guys is also infected, but he kind of willingly gives himself up, and that happens later on. Not so much willingly, but doesn't fight it because he knows.
Well, he's sick. He feels it.
Yeah, he knows.
What they were going to do was they were going to kill him where he stood. And Anna kind of, in a roundabout way, convinces them not to by using reverse psychology and telling him, "Go ahead, kill him. Do it now. Do it in front of his daughter." Mm-hmm. And then, "Why don't you kill this guy too?" "Well, no, I wasn't bit." "Well, we can't be sure."
You have a wound on your leg. We don't know. But
so they decide to keep him locked up with Kenneth, the Ving Rhames, the officer, watching over him
until he turns. And then Kenneth kills him. So now we get to what you were talking about.
Well, they have a conversation after the bloated woman and find out that it's the bites that turn.
Yes,
and
that's when they go to the father and tell him, like, yeah, you're infected.
You're gonna turn.
We know for sure.
And it is kind of a horrible situation to tell somebody in front of their loved one, you're gonna die. You know, this is going to happen.
And for everybody else's safety, we have to kill you.
And it's a 100% death rate. There is no recovery. With all of that, that was how they made the decisions. And some of the characters who, one lady was the truck driver. I think her name stereotypically was named Marge. She was a truck driver. And
no, it was Norma.
Oh, Norma. I must be grabbing Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
I was thinking Simpsons.
Large Marge. Tell him Large Marge sent you. Large Marge has been dead for 8 years.
So Norma and Anna meet up and they're just talking. And Anna says, I'm going to go check on Luda. I haven't seen her in a while. I just want to go see how things are. Because Anna's a nurse and Luda is pregnant. Now, Andre was kind of being dumb because I think he knew. He 100% knew she was infected and knew she was dying, but did not tell anybody. Instead, they went to this kid's store. They closed the doors, put blankets up so that people couldn't see inside, and he kind of hid everything that was going on. So this was this whole side thing going on that nobody else even knew about.
Yeah.
And then Norma tells Anna, I'll go with you. And then Anna says, okay, I got to finish up some things right here. And Norma says, okay, I'll meet you there. So Norma goes, she goes in, and they put a lot of emphasis on her putting out her cigarette. And I don't know if it was just foreshadowing to her dying, but...
No, I think it was not going into a pregnant woman's room with a cigarette.
So she goes in. She goes into this store, and she quickly notices, like, things aren't right. Like, things seem a little weird here. Things seem a little scary. And then she notices Luda is full-on zombie mode.
Yep.
And Andre is sitting there with this baby in his arms, and he says, it's a girl. And Norma pulls her gun and aims it at Luda, and Andre pulls his and aims it at Norma and says, are you going to shoot my family?
Yeah.
And so Norma shoots Luda, which I will say there was no immediate danger. She should have waited for the others to get there instead of just pulling her gun. But she pulled her gun, she shot Luda, and then Andre shot Norma, Norma shot Andre shot Norma, Norma shot Andre. That went on for a bit, and then they were both dead. And now here's where you were getting at, where you would lose your will to live.
I'm done at this point.
This part hurts.
Maybe it's
sad.
Maybe it's because I have a new baby, but you see for the first time, I don't think I've ever seen a zombie movie that's shown this, a zombified baby. And
the baby came out of Luda as a zombie.
When I saw that, I think at that point, I kind of take my mom's perspective. My mom is the type who she's watched horror movies. I grew up watching Nightmare on Elm Street. I've never been afraid of horror movies. And when I saw that, I reverted back to her thought, which was, why are you still running? Just get it over with. Die already. And that was my ending point right there. If I had to see something like that, that's our future. You just showed me what our future is in a baby, a newborn baby that is a zombie. I'm done. I don't want to live in a world that's the shadow. That is the what's to come, if you will, the coming soon.
Now, I will say there are some zombie shows like, I forget what it's called. It's called Z Nation. That's what it is. It's on Netflix.
Yep.
There's a scene where...
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, there's a scene where there's this baby zombie just full on scuttling up walls, running around, super dangerous. But I like the approach that Dawn of the Dead took, where it's a newborn baby.
Yep.
It has no teeth. It has no nails. It is completely harmless,
Yep.
except for the fact that it's dead.
It's dead.
Also, I want to add, there's a scene where you see Luna turn and Andre is saying his goodbyes to her. I think I said Luna again. I meant Luda. Andre is saying his goodbyes, and then he goes to listen to the baby one more time and to say his goodbye, and the baby pushes its hand against the skin. And honestly, I thought that baby was about to bust out. I was getting ready to be disgusted. I was like, oh no, this is not good. But instead, Luda gave birth as a zombie.
Yep. That is a first.
Yeah, so, I think that's a little unrealistic. I think it'd be more likely that the baby zombie would rip its way through.
Perhaps.
But I definitely don't think Luda would give birth to her zombie baby right there.
Yeah. And now we're in the mall. Things are starting to have to accelerate. The power goes out, and they have to enlist the security guards' help to find the generator. They get overrun down in the parking garage. They barely get away from a massive attack down there. That was the scene where you see that legless man who plays the zombie.
Such a cool part, honestly. And, I think it's so cool.
It's super cool. And then they make a dash for it. They get into they have a petrol station down underground. They spray the zombies. They light them on fire and wait. And finally they get out. It was during all of that. That was what allowed all of this to happen upstairs with Norma and Andre was Kenneth and CJ and even Bart, the dickless wonder, were all downstairs with Michael. So you had all of the characters with guns downstairs, and that left Norma alone upstairs. She was the only one with a gun upstairs with Andre. I do agree with you that, that's the point that you back away and just say, hey, she's tied up. As long as you don't fucking let her out, even if you stand there and keep guard until others get there, then you can tell them, hey, you need to get help. We need to do something about this. This can't go on. But nonetheless, at this point, everything is starting to unravel. And you also see they quickly show you that our friend Andy, who we've been kind of playing games with across, you see Kenneth playing chess with him using marker boards, showing their positions and movements. And then they start holding up placards, the marker boards of people that they want Andy to shoot with the sniper rifle.
Oh, yeah. Celebrity lookalikes.
Yeah. Making him guess what celebrity they're talking about. And as they're doing all of this, it's all fine and dandy. But now at this point, he's telling Kenneth, I'm hungry. And
yeah.
So Kenneth knows, okay, we have to do something. So they accelerate all of their plans to get out of there, which is retrofitting a couple of shuttle buses. They use a stopgap measure to try to get a dog, which they found down below in the parking garages, over to Andy. Chips. And then this ditzy girl, this is
Monica.
Monica?
Oh, wait, no, sorry, Nicole.
Nicole, that's her name.
Who is Monica?
I don't know. But they use Nicole to cause the chaos. That was her purpose, was the chaos. She, after the dog goes over, successfully gets over to the gun store. The gun owner opens up the door for the dog. He had a little doggy door even, but a couple of zombies got in. Andy gets bit. And after that happens, it's over.
Well, hang on. First, they strap a sandwich to Chips.
Yeah, I already said that.
And they lower him down into the zombies. And this is where, they found out in the parking garage that clearly zombies do not go after dogs, because Chips was down there in that garage with the zombies and it was still alive. So it's fair to assume that they don't attack dogs. So they're lowering this dog down into the parking lot to run the food over to Andy. And the whole time, Nicole's, oh my God, no, Chips is going to die. Oh my God, what about the dog? Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And everybody else is like, okay, ditzy girl, we all know the dog's going to be okay. Look, he's literally walking through the zombies right now and they don't care. He's completely fine. They don't care about him. The dog gets to Andy's gun store, which is just across the street. And Andy lets them in, and when the dog gets in, unfortunately, a couple zombies also get in, and Andy gets bit. So they finally get I'm assuming they close the doggy door where the zombies come in, or else more would have gotten in.
No, yeah, he got it closed after the two got in, but he was so hungry and so weak that he dropped his guard.
Yeah, and the zombies came in and bit him.
That was how they got him.
Now it gets even worse because he gets bit, and they actually show this. I think this is really cool. In one of the bonus features, you get to see Andy's last days. It's documented on film, like recording from a camera, and he talks about what he was going through in his last couple of days, how he was getting super hungry, and he says, I let my guard down. I shouldn't have done that. He was like, I just got so hungry. I was slow. And it shows the conversation again that he has with Kenneth, but from his perspective. And the conversation basically going along the lines of, oh, yeah, I'm kind of beat up, but I'll be okay. And then Michael says, well, what happened? And he goes, those fuckers bite hard. And that's when they all realize, like, oh, fuck. Like, all this work to try and get him on the way out, and he just got infected.
And they needed him because they needed him to get guns and ammo.
Yeah, they needed him because he owned a gun shop.
Yep.
So then we hear Nicole, or then we find out Nicole's gone. She just vanished.
You just hear a truck running.
And Nicole took the truck that the other survivors got there in and drove it over to the gun store, ramming through a bunch of zombies, jumps out, and runs in, completely unaware of everything that's going on, yelling, chips, 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 even though she knows damn well that the dog is perfectly fine. But this, I don't want to call her too many more names, but gosh, she's dumb. And she bothers me so much. Like, this is what I want to ask you. If you were in that situation, do you just leave her?
I leave her.
That's so risky to go after her over something that stupid. She knew the dog was okay.
Look, if we do things in an emergency situation, we do them knowingly, knowing that this is not normal anymore. There is no normal. What I'm doing now, her running out there like that, and then it wasn't the fact that she ran off that pissed me off. It was the fact that they said, you need to get out of there. And she said, I'm not going back out there. It's like, well, then die.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, because she had no idea that Andy had been bit.
Right.
And then she's like, oh, don't worry, Andy's here.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, Andy's trying to kill me. And it's worth mentioning that earlier when they first got to the mall, they talked about why the zombies were coming to the mall. And Kenneth said, I don't know, instinct.
Yep.
Maybe they know we're here. Memory. Maybe they know we're here. And you kind of see that again because Andy...
You got to do that right because it was far more ominous. He says instinct, memory, long pause. Maybe they're coming for us.
Yeah, it was this big dramatic moment. But Andy kind of shows that later on in the film where he goes back to the roof as a zombie.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads you to an instinctual thing because he
was
was going
like he was
every single
writing
day.
On something.
Yeah,
Looked like he was writing on the marker board, but then all he did was show a marker board full of blood.
He lifted it up to show to Kenneth.
Yep.
So his zombie form has some sort of instinct to go to that roof and write something on that board. And that's when he runs downstairs.
But then when he heard the noises downstairs, that's when his other instincts took over and he went to go feed.
Yeah, so he runs downstairs. So Michael, being the hero, is all, okay, we got to expedite all the plans now. We need to hop on these buses. We need to go save Nicole. So they all hop on these buses. And I asked you the question.
Not the buses. They go through the sewers. They
yes, you're right.
Below,
you're right.
Go through the sewers. They get over to the gun store. They do, which CJ, the dick security guard, is clutch throughout this whole thing. He goes out. They all go in there. They rearm. So they get all of their guns restocked. They find where this girl Nicole is hiding and where Andy is pounding on the door outside.
Well, they didn't even know if she was still alive, which was Steve's whole thing. When they were leaving the mall, and they were leaving, I forget his name. I don't remember. Tucker, I think his name was. Mm-hmm. They were leaving Tucker, and Tucker was like this hillbilly redneck dude. And Steve was like, well, why do I have to go on this suicide mission? And this guy gets to stay here just to hold open a door.
Yep.
And Tucker was like, fine, you stay here. I'll go. Like, I don't want to stay here anyways. So Steve was like, okay. And they're like, you better fucking be here to open this door. It better be open when we get here. Mm-hmm. So they go down to the sewer. They go up. They attract attention by accident. They rush into the store. They use the truck to get through. They rush into the store. They're all safe. They reload. They get all their ammunition. The cop picks up a new military-grade shotgun. And then they kill Andy. They save Nicole and Chips. And they go back through the sewer. And on their way down, Tucker ends up falling through the manhole.
Well, Tucker was helping CJ, because remember, the way they cleared the zombies out was CJ went to the roof, had a propane tank with a flare on it, threw it out, shot it with the sniper rifle. It exploded, blew all of the zombies over onto their fucking asses. And he ran back down. All of the other crew was waiting by the front door. They all took off. CJ ran out, gets all the way out, gets up and over the truck blocking the door. He climbs through the cab. Then he hears Tucker, CJ, over here. That's when he runs over towards him. They're both shooting zombies from all sides. CJ goes down nice. He's down properly.
Well, he's halfway down.
Tucker got pushed by a zombie from behind, and he steps into the hole and falls straight down in the manhole. Snaps his legs.
And CJ was in the middle of climbing down. He literally said, fuck, and he jumps out of the way. And so Tucker falls, and CJ gets back down to the bottom, and he starts pulling him through the water, and he's pulling him through the sewer. That's when the first zombie drops down. So the first zombie drops down through the manhole and then gets back up, and CJ shoots it, and then another one drops and he shoots that, and then a bunch of them start dropping. So he gives Tucker 2 guns and he just starts pulling him. And I had hope. I had so much hope. I was like, oh, this is badass. This can't end badly, right? But the zombies eventually catch up and jump on Tucker, and CJ very quickly grabs the guns out of his hands, and he looks at Tucker, and Tucker says, shoot me! So he shoots him, which, I mean, I would be so thankful in that situation. So he shoots him, and he runs off, and they get back to the fire escape, and guess what's not open?
The door.
The fucking door. Guess who's not there to open it? Steve. So they're pounding on this door, and I think it was really funny. I don't know if you noticed it. You probably did. But the zombies get to the bottom of the stairs, and they just stand there. They stop down, looking, knowing you're fucking stuck.
Then they exit out of there and get into their shuttle buses and hit the road and come
Anna
into
actually
more
saves
problems.
them by opening that door that Steve is supposed to open.
So they have more problems on the buses, and more people die. This whole event, I think probably the most monumentous event on the buses is when they throw that propane tank, which we talked about earlier, and the large zombie lifts it up over its head like it's going to throw it back. And then our character shoots it. It explodes. It knocks all of them over because as they're trying to plow through the zombies are trying to overturn the buses.
Yeah, and there were so many they couldn't even drive. They couldn't get through anymore.
Even with a plow on the front of the bus, they couldn't plow them out of the way. It was just too many.
But luckily, the propane tank killed a bunch of them, knocked them all over, creating this wave effect because they were so bunched together that if one fell over, they all did.
All fell over. So then they were able to drive through, but now they all get up and chase them. So there's that grand, anxious, and suspenseful moment where you're being chased. And again, in all of this, you've made it this far. No. Will you survive this? No. Not without this plot armor.
At this point, it's a little too unrealistic. But something really funny, in my opinion, somebody does die, but I think it's really funny what happens is earlier when they're preparing the buses, Michael shows Anna this his cool little invention. He left a gap to put a chainsaw through to cut them off if they're hanging onto the side of the bus. Very smart. Unfortunately, they ripped out all the seats of the bus too, which meant when the bus took a turn, I forget what his name was in the movie.
I want to say it was Glenn.
That might be right.
It was Glenn.
Glenn, this gay organ church player, church organ player, is like, I got it. I'll get the zombies off. He starts the chainsaw, and then Kenneth takes a hard turn, and he just falls right onto Monica and slices her down her left side. So pretty much, he kills her. It goes right into her heart. And then I think he ends up killing himself, too, by accident.
He did, because it rebounded onto him.
Glenn.
So in all of this, now they crash, and there's some that are down. So stop the bus, back up. We go back.
Oh my gosh, we totally forgot why they even left the mall in the first place. Steve came up with a brilliant idea that he was saying sarcastically. He said, oh, what do you guys want the buses? We're going to go down to the marina, hop on my boat, and just take a cruise?
Well, and that was as a result because they all had just gotten stir crazy and they were done sitting in this mall waiting to die.
Yeah, they were ready to go. And Steve was kind of like what I would be doing. Like, no, like we got kind of a good thing going. Let's hunker down. Like, let's defend. Let's. I don't know. I would just be too scared to leave with no actual goal. Like, you don't know.
That, I mean, to be fair, that is a goal.
But
get out and get on a boat.
It did kind of. They were actually kind of forced to when they went to go save Nicole and they came back from the sewers. The zombies followed them up.
Yep.
So zombies were in the mall now.
Yep.
So technically, they could have fought off those zombies because I don't think it would have been enough. Like, they definitely could have killed them and then eventually they would have stopped jumping down the sewers. I think they would have had enough ammo to do it. They just got back from the gun store and all that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to leave, but I get why they did. They had to. But the whole reason they left though is because they were going to the marina to...
Well, they also lost power, and then they basically fried the entire parking garage by setting all those zombies on fire. Probably lost their entire fuel supply, so the generators are worthless. So I think they were just forced to move at that point. They had to do something. But number one, you stopped at a mall. Although I do think that it would have some provisions. You would have some food. There are food courts. There are things of that nature. And
yeah, but they don't have a lot. Like, it's going to last you
for
a little
people,
bit.
That's plenty.
Well, I mean, before it goes bad, though.
Well, most of it's going to be frozen.
Oh, that's true.
You've got a lot of fast food.
That's saying fast food stuff isn't frozen.
It's all frozen. So you have a good shot, but I think it would be a far better, it would have been a far better plan to have, if I had that big box truck, I'd have stocked up the food in there and hauled it somewhere else, somewhere secure. And we'll go over some ideas.
They didn't have that truck anymore.
No, I know. Well, because that girl freaking toasted it.
Yeah. So the reason I brought up Steve, though, is because as soon as they crashed, he dipped. He got out of there. Unfortunately for Steve, he got caught by a zombie. And they stopped the bus. The other bus stopped and drove backwards. And they jumped out to go help them. And Kenneth and who else came out? It was Kenneth and
CJ.
Kenneth and CJ came out. Oh, and Michael. And they were basically like, yeah, that nobody else is alive. Don't worry about it. They look in and you see everybody dead.
Of course, Anna had to look.
Yeah.
Nobody's alive in there. They're all dead. So Anna had to look because she's the nurse. So
she has to confirm they're all dead.
Yeah.
So she looks and sees that they're obviously dead and goes, yeah, they're dead. And then they go, yeah, Steve dipped. And she was like, fuck. And I wasn't even thinking about it. But Steve comes back as a zombie. And they're like, oh, shit. And Anna goes, I got this. And shoots him in the head because earlier in the movie, he said, honey, if I turn, I give you 100% permission to shoot me. And she said, I will.
And she said, oh, you can count on it.
Oh, and she did it. She shot him in the head. And she thought of something that I did not even think about and nobody else thought about either. She looted Steve for his boat keys, which would be essential to getting their whole plan to getting on the boat.
Which almost got all of them killed. It got Michael bit.
And at this point, he didn't tell anybody.
Not until they got to the boat and he said, I can't go with you.
Yeah, they got all the way. We missed CJ's whole heroic moment too.
Well, that was my favorite character, CJ. When they get to the dock, as they're driving, they're frantically driving away from all of the zombies.
Yeah, really quick, I got to say, I don't know why Kenneth didn't just stop. They just drove in and plowed through half the dock.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just stop before the dock?
Well, one of my thoughts on that was
to break the bridge?
Yeah, they were trying to create a more difficult path for the zombies to get through.
Which I guess they did.
They did do it. Yeah. Some of them were getting over the bus and they were climbing over. And so everybody got out of the bus in time, except for CJ.
Well, CJ got out. He ended up trapping himself because he was going to distract the zombies for a while so that Kenneth could get away. He was planning on going through the front door of the bus, but
jammed.
They were jammed, and he was stuck. And so he did not go out without a fight. He had his big heroic moment. He lit a flare, and as he was being eaten, I forget his exact quote.
Fucking figures.
And he shoots this big-ass propane tank and blows the entire truck up. And so now, this is where I was like, I don't know, because all the zombies behind the bus were just standing there like, ah.
Well,
literally.
It completely severed the dock.
Well, yeah, but they're still zombies. They would be trying to get there. They would be running into the water. They'd be jumping onto the dock.
I don't know.
But
it all
what
depends.
bothered me is that they were literally standing behind the bus, just waving their arms in the air. Bah! Like they weren't even trying to get over there.
The point about zombies is that they are not critical thinkers. They're not problem solvers.
No, but they don't have any.
They're like the ants in A Bug's Life. A leaf falls in front of them, and I'm lost.
But they don't have any fear of dying, no fear of getting hurt, nothing like that.
It's not a matter of
they
fear.
see food, they're gonna go.
It's not a matter of fear. It's a matter of critical thinking. I can't get over that. I don't know what that is. I can't get over it.
There was nothing there. They could just run.
No, the explosion destroyed the entire dock. It severed the dock. The bus ran into the dock.
I don't know. In
it
any
broke
zombie
most
movie,
of it.
In any zombie, like I don't know. This is one thing that really bothered me. When a zombie sees a person, that's food. They see food. It's like a high person who sees a Hershey bar. They're gonna get it. They're gonna go for it no matter what it takes. But even if they can't get there, they're still gonna try. The fact that the zombies were just standing there,
I think you and I have a differing opinion on what it means to try, because I really don't think that, other than World War Z, the zombies don't climb over each other.
Well, no, but they didn't need to.
No, they did. You have to go back and watch that again.
They could have gone around.
No, they couldn't. That explosion entirely destroyed the rest of the dock. There was only a part of the dock that remained, and when that explosion went off, all you saw was the truck lying face first into the water, and there was nothing connecting the dock to the land anymore.
Let me see if I can find it really quick just so I could take a look. But we can move on while I'm looking for it. After that, it's revealed that Michael was bitten downtown, and he says, I can't go with you guys.
So he stays behind and commits suicide. The rest of the cast go on the boat, and in a very dark turn from what you would normally get in an American film, there is no happy ending here.
Well, to be honest, there's not really an ending, because you don't know. It's highly assumed that they died, because their whole goal, by the way, they're in Wisconsin. They got on the Great Lake, and they found Steve's camera, which is all we have left to see of what happened to them. We see what they documented. They find a boat with a zombie head in the cooler. They finally get to this island. They're out of water. Their boat is dying.
They're out of water. They're out of gas.
Yeah, they finally get to this island, and their whole hopes were that there wouldn't be zombies.
Too many.
Or if there wouldn't be too many. So they get there, but then this whole horde starts coming out of the trees and starts running towards them, and they start killing them, and the camera's dropped, and you see a zombie drop dead in front of the camera, blocking the view, and that's how it ends.
And roll credits.
So we don't
It's
necessarily
safe to assume
know,
that they're dead.
But we don't necessarily know.
Oh, we know. How long can you last without water?
Yeah,
you got 3 days.
we know. But you brought up a good point. That is fresh water.
It is, but there's, what do you do with that many people? I mean, one person is too many, but what do you do with that many people? No water, no food. It's not looking good. And they also had no way of getting that boat off of the dock. Like, how do they disembark quickly enough that the zombies aren't able to just chase them right onto the boat?
Yeah, there would be no way, because it took them a while to disembark from the boat dock in Milwaukee.
Right.
Okay, so I'm at the scene right now where Kenneth got away. CJ's in the truck, or in the bus. All right, let's skip ahead. Let's see where he's standing there, and it shows the dock in the background. Okay, so all that's stopping them is a drop, like a fall. You're telling me they wouldn't just fall?
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason for it.
They see food. Go to it.
No, but what you're talking about is a critique of the directing, and there's no purpose for him to carry that forward.
Okay, those zombies would go after them. There's nothing stopping them.
Fire.
Oh yeah, fire is gonna. They're so worried about being hurt.
Stopped them in the garage.
No, it didn't.
Yes,
They just got lit on fire and kept going.
The fence was pulled completely down, and when they lit them on fire, they stopped attacking
Because they were dying. Not because it scared them.
because they were dying.
But they still would have been running at them on fire.
I don't think they would have.
I 100% disagree with you. I think those zombies definitely would have been chasing.
Go back to the garage scene and see where the fence was completely pulled down. They didn't climb over the fence while they were on fire and run at them. They stopped.
I don't know.
Stopped them in their tracks.
I don't think zombies would go, oh shit, there's fire. Fuck.
That's the directing.
You're saying they have no thinking, right?
The directing is consistent.
They have no thinking, right?
They have no thinking.
So they wouldn't think about, oh, fire might hurt. They're just gonna go.
No, it's not a matter of fire might hurt. It in what you're conflating now is the difference between what the director already showed you. The director showed you something for a reason. You saw him use fire to stop their attack previously. Now it's just assumed that when he set this whole thing on fire, he exploded it. Number one, he created a gulf that they're not able to cross. And number two, that big giant fucking bus that's on fire has created a barrier. It's an effective barrier to stop them from being able to get it.
But that conflicts with what Andy said.
What did Andy say?
Andy lit a Molotov, and he said it did nothing. He said he threw it, and all it did was light him on fire and piss him off.
Bonus features. That's not.
But that's still part of it.
No, because Zack Snyder didn't direct the bonus features. That's a directing consistency.
We'll leave it up.
He showed you the fire in the parking garage for a reason, so you would see them stop.
I disagree. I think it was a flub. I think it was more plot armor. Oh, zombies aren't going to get him because we're at the end. But let's let the audience decide. They can decide whether they think it was a flub or let's say this. They can decide whether it was plot armor or whether it's consistent with the movie. And for you guys to know, you guys are just going to have to go watch. So to finish things off, I would say Dawn of the Dead is a great movie overall. We're obviously heavily critiquing it and like trying to find everything wrong with it. But overall, awesome zombie movie. I would not survive.
I don't think I would if we followed their footsteps.
No. You're right. They had way too much plot armor. Too much stuff just went right for them. And in reality, I don't think it would go that way. I think we would die. But now you have to decide, will you survive?